Hi, welcome to LOP Radio. This is Entropy, and I have David John Oates on the air. How are you doing, Mr. Oates?
I'm doing very good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. You've been a busy man lately. What have you been into?
Oh, gee whiz, yeah. In interest in reverse speech has just exploded. I'm flooded with clients and radio requests, and yeah. So mainly my therapy practice really, where I use reverse speech in working with my clients' problems. I'm working with about 40 odd clients right now at one time, which is a pretty heavy load, but yeah, getting some fantastic results. Reverse speech really does perform miracles in the therapeutic arena. So that's a very rewarding to see lives change.
Well, it's good to hear that. Your interest in reverse speech began as a therapist, is that correct?
Yeah. 30 years ago it began. Actually, I was a youth worker. Well, actually, I was the director for a halfway house for street kids, and doing counselling and placements, placing kids and families and stuff. And some of those kids had heard about backward messages in rock and roll, which was a big controversy 30 odd years ago now. And I sort of got intrigued, and I started looking at it, and was hearing these messages on the record that they claim were there, and I'm scratching my head, going, "What on earth is this?" Because they were all saying it was satanic, and I poo-pooed that idea pretty well straight away. I thought there has to be some logical reason for it, and so thus began a lifetime search, really, to solve the mystery of what these backward messages are. And I wrote my theory in April '87, and the theory basically states that language is bi-level, forwards as well as backwards. As the brain is constructing the sounds of speech, it's putting those sounds together in such a way that we're saying two things, one forward and one in reverse. So my theory is that it's the natural function of language. And we can tap into the real self by analysing tapes in reverse. That's my claim.
And what evidence have you found that supports the validity of reverse speech phenomena?
Oh, right. Well. In addition to the millions of examples of reversals I've found over the years, there's 10,000 posted up on my website alone. So we've just got sheer volume of research data. We've done some outside tests, like we've done electroencephalogram testing where we play tapes to independent subjects, and we're noticing a registration in the brain from the moment the reversal begins to the moment it finishes. So the brain is clearly hearing the reversals on an unconscious level. So that's some hard data. There was some research put out by Cal State many years ago that tested playing tapes backwards and found that the people could decode the messages in reverse. So in addition to my sheer volume of research, we've got a couple of outside studies as well that shows the brain can at least decode messages in reverse. So it's the research does not yet show that it can produce them, but obviously if I found them, the brain is producing them. So the current scientific research is the brain can hear them. So, and of course my claim is that it's also producing them as well.
And is this true in every language?
Well, certainly every language we've looked at so far, which we've looked at French, German, Spanish, Japanese. I think they're the only four besides English, and we've found them in all of those languages. Using common vocabulary too, even though they may come from different cultures. Reverse speech uses a rich myriad of metaphors and archetypes, and we're finding very common metaphorical themes in other languages. So I believe we're tapping into a universal collective unconscious that exists across cultural bounds and language differences. So that's my claim. And anyway, so
Did you bring any thing for us to listen to tonight?
Oh, sure, got lots of stuff to listen to. Where do we? I'm trying to think when I played on your show last time. I don't want to be redundant. So let me pull
Sure.
some current examples up here, and I did quite a few on rents the other night. Oh, look, here's a funny one on Barack Obama. This is classic. Barack likes to use his name in reverse. So here's the forwards.
It should be the power of our vote.
Okay, it should be the power of our vote. He says backward, Barack, believe the blank.
Barack, believe the shit. Barack, believe the shit. Barack, believe the shit.
So he's believing his own rubbish. So,
Wow.
and uses his own name. Could you hear that one? Okay.
Yes.
That was a fairly clear one. So so that's a funny one on Barack. Here's let me see what here's one on the Snowden.
It was the creeping realization that no one else was going to do this.
And about releasing information, and he says, "I'm the one."
I know one.
So he saw himself as the one to release that information. So, and also in another reversal, if I can pull this up quickly, he points to some of his motives in releasing information, and it's actually quite an interesting motive. And here's the forwards.
So long as the public gets to make their own decisions about how that's applied.
And here he says, "I'm just American."
I wasn't just American.
So he was doing what he thought was his patriotic duty. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a couple of examples. I got a real creepy one on John Kerry that I played on the Rent show. First time I'd heard it when I played it live to air, when he's talking about the situation in Crimea. So here's the forwards.
Russia, if it wanted to help de-escalate the situation, could return its troops to the barracks.
And here it says, "Feel excited, go ahead, get on with it." So it's a long one. Feel excited, go ahead, get on with it.
Yeah, let's say you go ahead, get on with it.
There it is.
Yeah, let's say you go ahead, get on with it.
And again.
Yeah, let's say you go ahead, get on with it.
So a rather dark interest in war. He's
It could be
excited
interpreted,
by
yes.
Yeah, it could be interpreted that way. So bit of a creepy reversal on John Kerry. I'm sure I haven't played these ones on your show. And here's Dick Cheney telling us what the fighting's all about.
Well, and it's also a reflection of the notion that somehow a strong America, well equipped with a strong military, is a danger.
And this one says, "It's in oil."
It's in oil.
Huh.
It's in oil.
It's in oil.
Yeah, there it is. Of course, oil. What are most of these wars all about in the Middle East? It's all about oil. It's
Yes.
all about resources. So, yeah. So there we go. So there we got some confirmation on that. Yeah. Okay. What else have I got? Oh, I've got so many. I'm just trying to think which is some ones I can use.
Do you have anything from Vladimir Putin?
No, I don't. That would be interesting. I'd love to get. Does he speak English? I guess he does. No. But no, I got nothing from him at all. Sorry. No. Just I don't know what Obama ones I played on your show last time. I've got lots of Obama, of course. Here we got Obama betraying his religious beliefs.
The governor of the great state of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal, is here.
And it says, "Praise the Lord."
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
So that's a nice, positive, upbeat reversal. But let's look at a negative one. And the one I'm looking for is This one here. Let's do this one.
First of all, you're not saving money by not paying your mortgage. You're just a deadbeat. And you can anticipate that will hurt your credit, which means that in addition to debt collectors calling, you're going to have trouble borrowing in the future. And if you are able to borrow in the future, you're going to have to borrow at a higher rate.
And here he says, you're all pathetic.
Go on, pathetic. Go on, pathetic. Go on, pathetic.
There he goes. And that, he's got a rather degrading, demeaning attitude about him. Yeah. So what other ones do you want? Let's see what I've got. Did I play children ones on your show last time? They're cool.
I believe so, yes.
I did. All right. Okay.
You played a couple of them, I think.
Yeah, we won't.
But we may have some new listeners.
Oh, okay. All right.
That haven't heard this before.
Yeah. Oh, look, here's a funny one on me. I just saw this one here. I was looking for another one on me. Actually, I can't see at the top of my head. Here's me negotiating a price with a client. Oh well, we'll go half price then.
Well, no.
You've got money problems. And this one says, "I haggle, we'll wiggle. I haggle, we'll wiggle. I haggle, we'll wiggle." Funny one, isn't it?
I haggle, we'll wiggle.
Yeah, that's a nice funny one.
How much time does it take to find these?
Well, it's a very time-intensive process. It takes me about 3 hours to analyse a 30-minute recording. Okay, so so about 3 hours for a 30-minute recording, and that's how long my recordings are. But now that's in private session work. Media reversals are a lot harder to find. They don't occur anywhere near as often as they do in private conversation, and that's because reverse speech is coming from the right brain hemisphere, and in right brain activities are very strong, but in left brain activities, like a speech which a politician is giving, you get very few reversals. So it can be very time consuming finding them in the media. I mean, I could spend 3 or 4 hours analysing tape only to find 1 or 2 good reversals that I could use. So I tend to stick away from media nowadays. I don't get much time. But they're occurring once every 30 or 60 seconds, so you can certainly find one pretty easy enough. And in a 30-minute tape, I'll find 30 odd reversals for my client. So but then of course you multiply that, you got by 20, 30 clients a week, and then that suddenly gives you 50, 60 hours you've got to spend just analysing tapes before you can even talk to your clients. So it's a very, very time-intensive, emotionally draining job.
Do you believe that the subconscious encodes these messages into a person's speech?
Oh yeah, does it encode it into the person's speech? Oh yeah, well for sure, yeah. That's what it's doing. It's at the moment that it creates the sounds of speech, and it's making those sounds. And how it does it, I've no idea. I don't understand the mental processes at all. But it's putting the sounds together, so we're saying 2 things: one forwards and one backwards. And but like I said, I've no idea the mental processes. It's got to be really quite a mental acrobats to create them, and that's quite interesting. So.
And when you hear these reversals, are they what's in the person's intent? For example,
oh yeah,
could it be used as a lie detector?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, oh for sure. Oh yeah, if someone's lying forward, you'll generally, not always, but generally and mostly get the truth out in reverse. And it's the unconscious's own way of correcting itself, of communicating, of forcing us to be honest and truthful. And the unconscious does that in other ways too. Body language, for example, is well known. It's been documented for many, many years. And, some experts in body language can tell you what a person is thinking, or even what they're feeling, just based on analysis of their facial movements. So, the unconscious communicates in a variety of ways, and And I'm saying it also communicates it through our speech, through reverse speech. So what I'm saying is nothing like rocket science. It's just a lot of people have trouble accepting the concept of reverse speech. So I don't know. I think it's fear, personally. I just think that there might be something else inside of us that's speaking. It's got to cause some discontentions. Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
Do you recall what the first message that you heard in reverse that sounded like it was speech? Do you recall what that was?
Oh yeah, that was on. Well, are you talking about music or speech? See, music I found first, and the very first message I ever found, I'll remember this very well, was on "Stairway to Heaven," and I'll play it. Because that's what everyone was talking about, "Stairway to Heaven." So I played the whole song forwards. Here's the last line of that song.
She's buying the stairway to heaven.
And you run it backwards, and it says, "Play backward, hear words sung." And I'll play it. The P's long and drawn out. The word "play" is. I'll play it again. So there you go. That was the first backward message I ever found. That was back in 1984. And I remember that to this day. I had headphones on. And I grabbed my headphones and I threw them against the wall. It's like, oh, what is that? It really freaked me out. And the first one I found in speech, this is a well-known example. I play this one many times, but this is the very first one. I did music for 3 or 4 months, and then I accidentally stumbled on speech, and you all know this famous sound clip. Here it is forwards.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And backwards he says, "Man will spacewalk."
Man will spacewalk. Man will spacewalk.
There you go. So nice congruent reversal. He's stepping onto the moon, and he thinks mankind will continue to walk in space. We will destined to the stars. I believe that's what our destiny is eventually. So, yeah. So that was the first one I found in speech. And once I found it in speech, it's a whole new kettle of fish altogether. It's one thing to hear it in music, but it's a nice little interesting oddity, but what can you do with it? But to hear it in speech, and then to see some of the messages it's communicating, like you say, the truth, if a lie is spoken, and hidden unconscious agendas, and wow, I mean, that makes its applications very, very exciting for a variety of reasons. So,
yes,
yeah, I do a lot of corporate work. I've got some fairly large corporate clients, and before they make a major decision like opening up a new or appointing a new employee or going into shares, going into some sort of partnership deal, they'll come to me and talk about it. And the reversals will tap into the unconscious knowledge as to whether it's going to be beneficial for them or not. And which is amazing. See, the unconscious mind knows so much more than the conscious. We process most of our information unconsciously, and conscious thought occupies about 5% of the totality of the mind. And reverse speech taps into that other 95%, and that other hidden wisdom and knowledge that we have that rarely can get access to. Yeah.
Have you analyzed any of the NASA coverage or any coverage of the NASA announcements regarding the Mars missions?
No, I haven't at all. No. Gee whiz, I should get some of my guys to do that. I'll get some of my people on to that. That would be fascinating. I did, I did a whole lot of analysis of the Mars missions back in '97 when the little rover that landed on Mars, and there's a whole bunch of them on my website. Yeah. So under NASA, I think, but I don't have any of those reversals handy to pull up. Look, here's an interesting one. Here, let me play this one. This is talking about this topic. This is a couple of reversals on an Air Force announcement that what happened in Roswell was test dummies. Okay, so they weren't alien bodies they saw; they were test bunnies, so dummies. So here's the forwards.
Let me read my prepared statement, and then we'll roll a short video that Captain McAndrew will talk about.
And here he says, "We faked it."
We faked it.
We faked it. We faked it.
So there you go. That's a little bit revealing. And then a little while longer, he's talking about Roswell.
I'm sorry, I just don't have any information for that. All I know is what the Air Force did, and that if you overlay much of their claims and you look at the Air Force scientific research, you can see it's obvious that what we're talking about at Roswell.
And this one says, "Share a secret with NASA."
Share a secret with NASA.
Share a secret with NASA. Share a secret with NASA.
So clearly they found something at Roswell, and it was shared with NASA. So there you go. So but if you go to my website, there's a whole, probably about 300 or 400 reversals all about the early Mars missions back in the 1970s. I had a lot of free time. When I say free time, I had a lot more time then to analyze media than what I do now. My therapy practice is so busy, I just don't get time anymore. It's disappointing because I enjoy doing media reversal. So anyway.
I'm looking over.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm looking over your website now. It is ReverseSpeech.com, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep, ReverseSpeech.com.
Yeah, you have a very extensive library here.
Yeah. Well, that site's been online it first went online in '96, so it's been online for 16 years, and I just keep on updating more and more examples as we go. So there's a whole lot more we've got to upload over the next couple of days. That's in my webmaster's hands now, and he's working on them. So we've also got an app out. If anyone's got an iPhone and interested in trying it out for themselves, you can go to my app website, which is iReverseSpeech.com, and or you just go straight to the Apple Store and search for Reverse Speech. It'll take you to our app, which is a nice little addition. So, yeah. Okay, so what I might do, we'll look at a couple of kids reversals. We looked at some last time, but we'll just play a couple of them. And here's the one that's one of my favourites. This one here was one of my favourites. This is a little baby at 3 months of age. As you play it backwards, you can hear her say hello. Is that nice and clear there? Hello. I'll do it again. Wonderful little example on kids. And one of my favourite ones is where my daughter's in the bathtub and she's playing and she reaches out to me to help her pick up a cup. And this one says, "David, help me." You hear that there? I'll play it again. Yep, there it is. Quite an amazing little example of that one. So that's part of my theory, is that language begins backwards before it does forwards. I claim that children learn to speak in reverse first. So language development occurs backwards, and children from as early I've got them from as early as 4 months of age saying simple single words, and then anywhere between 7 and 12 months of age, they're putting 3 or 4 words together in a sentence, and this is before the child is even speaking forwards. So that's my theory about language development in kids. Okay, what else do you want to look at, sir?
Anything that you'd like to go into? Do you have anything else that's recent from last year?
Yeah, let me go into my recent folders and see what we can pull up. Interesting. That's oh yeah. Oh, here's another one on Barack. I'll run this forwards.
But you can't be as selective in terms of, cherry picking and making determinations that she's now suddenly the face of foreign policy, that she, shaped economic policy, except for the stuff that didn't work out, in which case that was somebody else's problem or somebody else's fault.
And he says, I am a celeb.
Oh, you're a celeb.
Huh.
Oh, you're a celeb.
There it is.
Oh, you're a celeb.
So he believes he's a celebrity. There you go. He can think what he likes. Let me, I think you've asked for John McCain. I've got a couple of recent ones on John McCain. Here's John McCain talking about the situation in Crimea, I think.
The President of the United States believes that the Cold War is over.
He says, I'll walk this evil.
Don't walk this evil.
Don't walk this evil. Don't walk this evil.
So, he's seeing that as being an evil thing. I played you the one on John Kerry. Let me go and have a look at my other current file and pull some out that would interesting be. Here's the First Lady being very wonderful.
Applause should go to all of you.
Applause should go to all of you. And she says, blow it on yourself. Oops, which is a rather put-down statement.
Blow it on yourself. Blow it on yourself. Blow it on yourself.
So there you go. Yeah, all right, so there you go. That's a bit of a short taste of reverse speech, mate.
Some of those are very clear.
Yeah. Oh, some of them are. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's no doubting a lot of them. Look, some are open to interpretation. I agree, but many of the reverses are fairly clear and obvious. And when I do my lectures, I'll often play reversals without telling the audience what they're saying, and there's usually no problem at all in interpreting them. So if people can hear them independently without being prompted, then you've got to start asking some serious questions. And if they're occurring as often as I say they are, then you've also got to start asking serious questions. So anyway, that's my evidence. Well, some of it. Go to my website. There's a new site opening up in another week or so called backwardmessages.com. And that's an introduction to reverse speech. That should be online within a week, I would imagine. Okay, all right.
Well, I would like to thank you for your time. I know you have a client you need to get off to, and
Yes.
we agreed to a 30-minute show. And I appreciate you taking 30 minutes to come back on LOP Radio here at lunaticoutpost.com. And it's been a privilege to talk to you, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah, I will. I'll come back and say hi on a regular basis. Okay.
We appreciate
All
it. You take care of yourself. Thank you, sir.
Sure will. Okay, thanks, mate. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to LOP Radio. This is Entropy. I'm sorry that the show was short, and next week we'll have open lines. I'll post a thread on that. You'll be able to call in with any topic you want to discuss. Thank you.